tall. Raise your voice and shout, we're breaking down the walls. We're breaking free, yeah, we're breaking free. No oppression is out for liberty, breaking free. Yeah, we're taking a stand. Freedom's in our hearts, we're reclaiming our land. They try to silence us, but we won't be tamed. Voices getting loud, can't keep us in chains. We got the power, we got the might. Together we can shine, together we can fight. Feel the rhythm in your feet, it's time to stand tall. Raise your voice and shout, we're breaking down the walls. We're breaking free, yeah, we're breaking free. No oppression is out for liberty, breaking free. Yeah, we're taking a stand. Freedom's in our hearts, we're reclaiming our land. They try to silence us, but we won't be tamed. Voices getting louder, can't keep us in chains. We got the power, we got the might. Together we can shine, together we can fight. Feel the rhythm in your feet, it's time to stand tall. Raise your voice and shout, we're breaking down the walls. We're breaking free, yeah, we're breaking free. No oppression is out for liberty, breaking free. Yeah, we're taking a stand. Freedom's in our hearts, we're reclaiming our land. We're reclaiming our land.
I hate this show. Oh my goodness.
Welcome, everybody. A Tuesday night edition of Are You Smarter Than a Politician? And so tonight on Are You Smarter Than a Politician? War without budgets, war without end, budgets without limits, courts without justice. Tonight on Are You Smarter Than a Politician? We have Washington's worst habits on trial. Trillion-dollar conflicts draining the treasury, secret war powers shredding the Constitution, runaway debt sinking the dollar, and a justice system rigged to punish the powerless while protecting the powerful. We have three sharp political voices taking the stage tonight to cut through the lies. They'll expose who cashes in on perpetual war, who bankrupts America's future, and who twists the courts into tools of control instead of protectors of freedom. The politicians won't like what's coming, but you will. Get ready, because tonight you decide, are you smarter than a politician? Joining us for his 78th appearance, one of my favorites of all time, Joe Hannoush. How are you tonight, Joe?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me. I always enjoy being on here. It's going to be another fun night. I do want to say, if anyone takes, any of the viewers take anything away from this at all, it's that Ryan Woodcraft had a historic victory for school board in El Paso, Texas. So shout out to him. That's historic, and Ryan Woodcraft is awesome. If anyone wants to run for office themselves, reach out to me. I'll help you out. As a libertarian, you have to be against government, increasing government at all. If you want to get rid of the government, let me know.
I'm scrolling furiously through the chat trying to figure out how much he bribed you for that, because that was the longest Woodcraft praise ever on the show by about five times would be my guess. So no, great to have you, Joe. Joe's one of the underrated guys of the movement, a good friend of mine. So always great to have him. Also joining us is Marcus Matthews from the Black Powder Podcast, another return contestant. He's a previous winner, I believe, too. How are you tonight, Marcus?
I'm already in a bad mood. You had a tub soundbite that just ruined my whole Are You Smarter Than a Politician experience within the first 13 seconds of me being on here. So we'll just see how this goes tonight. Other than that, hey, how's everybody doing?
We don't get many endorsements, so Tub gave us an endorsement, so I put it right in the intro, figuring that would add credibility, you know, him being a pastor and a very well-respected member of our community. So I had to put it in there.
I guess so. You know, if that's what you needed to bring this about. And I already see one comment that's pissing me off.
Here we go.
I live in California. I am not a liberal. I am the only real libertarian. So let's get that off the floor right now and get that plane in the air, because this is about to be something serious. I take this very seriously.
All right. Well, that can be debated, and we'll find that out tonight. But promote your show. I love your show. I love the people you do the show with. Promote the show.
So I'm from the Black Powder Podcast, the only real libertarian podcast there is. My co-hosts are Eric Parker, Bold Liberty, formerly of Jacksonville, Florida, now living in North Kakalaki. Tub down there, he's still in Jacksonville. One of my favorite guys. I always like to tell him my dad was a deacon, so I was in the business before he was. And we also have Obbins that comes on. Everybody knows Obbins O'Brien, one of the brighter minds in the Libertarian Party. And of course, myself, I have to bring this full circle back to myself. I'm the only real libertarian. So if you have a problem with that, we'll handle it in the comment section tonight.
I want to play a quick clip from the last time you were on, where you admitted you were for state indoctrination of our children. Can we play that real quick while you're talking about you being the real libertarian?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. No, we don't have clips. So we don't. I barely made it to the show on time, so we don't have any clips. But yeah. So let's just pretend that happened, and like everybody just be like, let's just do a reaction of that. I played the clip, and we'll just pretend it glitched out or something.
There you go.
Okay. And joining us for the first time ever, and he already won the best dressed contestant of all time. I mean, I think we're just gonna have to retire that award after this. Hodey Johns, how are you tonight, Hodey?
Doing really well. I got a fresh sheet of chrome on the dome here. Got a nice waxing going on. And then obviously the suit, because I am the white person who actually has no culture. And so this is all I've got, is what other people tell me to wear. Want to do a quick shout out since we're doing the intros. There's a guy named Dexter Taylor out in New York. He is a gun rights activist at this point. He printed some ghost guns. They were never used in any crime. They never hurt anybody. He was just making them, collecting them at his own house, never even sold them to anybody else. He was busted by the cops, by New York State. They sentenced him to the maximum allowable 10 years in prison. He had the option to take 4 years. The guy's got a wife. The guy's got a kid. Not going to see those people anymore. Why? Because he wants to take this to the Supreme Court. He's intentionally doing this. He's sacrificing a little bit of his life for mine. If he's going to sacrifice 10 years of his life to push forward the right to self-defense, I don't mind taking about 60 seconds to push for him a little bit. If you want to help him, Give, Send, Go. If you're Googling it, just search Give, Send, Go, Dexter Taylor. The link is givesendgo.com/DTaylor_2A_legal. I would appreciate that. The judge said the Second Amendment's not allowed in my courtroom. It's unreal. Go ahead and look that up. I couldn't believe it either. We are hoping that he gets to the Supreme Court, and I appreciate his sacrifice and his willing to be a revolutionary in these times for even people like me, the cultureless, suit-wearing libertarians.
So yeah, we talk about Dexter a lot on here, and actually last week I dedicated a whole category to him. And I think last I heard he was 3,000 away from being able to afford his appeal. So that's why we have that slide, givesendgo.com/DTaylor_2A_legal. And so you can go there. But one thing I wanted to point out to you, Hodey, and thank you for doing that, but you do realize that this is not an athletic event, and you did not need to shave all your body hair.
Oh, shoot. Really? Okay. Well, that was one joke. The other one I was going to go is that my chemotherapy was just today. So I guess but you probably have the more appropriate one. So.
I probably would have said something really awful. So thanks for not making me go there. So
you betcha.
Yeah, appreciate that. And as always, you can find me at Freedom for Us for All on X. And the lovely Terry Batts is joining us as well. She is Batts T76, Batts T76 on X. How are you tonight, Terry?
I'm over here clicking away. I love this chat. I hope you guys are ready to go because your chat is already fired up. I think Hodey brought some people in from overseas. I'm not sure what's going on over here, but it's just a scrolling. Keep it coming, guys. Have fun.
It is my birthday today, and I said a great birthday gift would be being able to win against two like kind of former champions here. I'm the underdog in it, and I'm gonna need some help. So maybe that's cheating, but the politicians do it to win. I don't mind getting in on that action.
I don't think Joe's ever won anything. I think
I think I've been on here like 8 times. I never won.
Yeah, he's 0 for 4 in elections, 0 for 8 on game shows. So
0 for 4 in HOA elections too.
Yeah,
well, then he is a real libertarian.
Yeah, he's legit the real libertarian. All right, and did Terry, any word on if all of Hodey's people shave their body hair too? If you find that in the chat, I'd like to know that as well.
Okay, could everybody in the chat please let me know if you shaved your body hair today or not? It had to be today. So if you didn't do today, it didn't count, and Hodey doesn't get any points for it or anything. Just so you know.
Let's jump in. I'm sure that's popping up here. So Patty's here, paddled and whacked raspberries. I understood none of that. Archie's here. Welcome, Archie. Magner, welcome.
Careful. Don't use the hard R on that one.
Yeah. All right, thank you. I thought I could use that if we were rapping or if I was talking to you, but that's not true. Dan's here. What's up, Dan? Scientific is 5th, 8th, 9th, I don't know, something like that. Shirley, welcome. She's across the pond, up in the middle of the night watching us. Dedicated soul, and we appreciate it. Cy reposted. He was on last week. Check that out. It was a really good one. He got to answer one question while Larry was on, and it was really good though. Free all the J6ers. Yep, I have to update that, but I kept it up there because there's still a couple that are awaiting some stuff. Rebecca's here. She's been on a couple times. Welcome, Rebecca. OB's here. Welcome, OB. Check out OB's website and her awesome art. Hodey's here, also pimping for himself in the chat. Woody's here. Oh, looks like a relation.
Yeah.
Or is this a before picture? Maybe?
No, I know, right?
Looks like a before picture.
That is my younger brother, who is taller, handsomer, and wealthier than me. But in his, he's a great younger brother. He got me this wonderful no step on Sneck hat for my birthday. Nice. I really appreciate it, Woody. If we gave fans points, plus 100 to you for the nice hat. Thank you.
Yeah. And you got 100 for wearing the tie your mom picked out for you. That's nice. Joe's giving Joe points. That's on brand right there. A suit for the show minus 100. Yeah, I didn't think that was going to work. Minus 100 to Joe to counter his 100. Yeah, but Joe can't give himself points, so that's just negative 100. OB saying hi to Joe. Yeah, we miss Joe. Joe, you aren't sitting on the floor. Are you okay? Minus 100 to Marcus for being a liberal. I'll double that. I'll double it. Let's make that minus 200. There's a lot of. If you're going to be a poser, why would you do it as a libertarian poser? Like literally, we'll take anybody. Like if you're going to be a poser,
it's because libertarian. The natural born message of libertarian is you don't tell me what to do. So you don't. That's it. You don't tell me
fair. Bray's here. What's up? Happy solar rotation day. Excellent. Yeah. Happy birthday, Hodey. If we didn't say that, happy birthday. Appreciate you doing this on your birthday.
Thank you.
Day before Ron Paul's birthday. That's a pretty good birthday. Betsy's here. Welcome, Betsy.
That's my mom. Thanks, Mom.
Oh, hi, Mom. Minus 100 Marcus for being a sensitive liberal.
I think this dude's going to be a problem all night. So let's just keep it moving.
Casey's been a problem longer than just tonight, but
yeah.
Plus 100 to Marcus for supporting the red light district. 100 to Hodey for my fellow Utah. Is that a thing?
That's not a flex.
That seems like a typo.
Utah.
Sharp dressed man from Bray. Welcome, Bray. Go Hodey. Yeah, big team for Hodey here. I think he's gonna whoop up on the fake libertarian and the guy with the funny hair.
I don't have any hair.
Yeah. 100 to Hodey for the digs and 100 to him for his B-Day. May the Godhead have mercy on your soul. Zach's comments never make any sense to me, but welcome, Zach. Appreciate having you. Taking bets over under how many times Joe falls asleep. I took the under in the early betting. So, and also keep in mind, I can kick him off if he falls asleep. So Sarah's here. Welcome, Sarah. Hey, Joe. Happy birthday, Hodey. Minus 100 Marcus for taking his show seriously. 100 to Hodey for bringing up Dexter. Free Dexter Taylor. Absolutely. Good job, Free, for handing Terry the controls. Yeah, that's always smart. 100 to the Johns.
I was generous.
Yeah, that was nice. Chris is here. What's up, Chris? 50 to Hodey for the Chrome Dome. 100 to Joe for being my friend and opponent at the same time. Oh, we're talking to each other in the chat, I guess. 100 to Joe for the self-branded shirt. Joe only has one shirt, so you can't give him credit for that, because if not, he'll just take it off. Did Hodey get the job? He looks like he's dressed for an interview. Spike's here. Welcome, Spike. 37 trillion points to Hodey for his birthday.
Spike's coming on this Thursday on our show, by the way.
That's awesome. Spike's awesome. We
I
talk
could pay
about
off.
you are the.
I
Go
could
ahead.
pay off the national debt for that, but I
Yeah.
won't.
Spike Cohen is my birthday twin, and he didn't give me points for my birthday. Come on, our birthday. Oh man, that's wow.
Since Spike's here, I got to shout out You Are the Power too. You can give them money at youarethepower.net. Like, one of the best organizations out there, actually doing real justice, mostly for families and people that have a hard time finding people to represent them. They do an amazing job. So Spike and Rebecca and a bunch of people we really like are doing that. Great organization. And then check them out Thursday on Marcus's show as well. Now I lost the chat. Here we go. And 100 to French Mr. Clean, Mr. Fair Le Menage. Fair Le Menage. I screwed that up. 50 to Joe for always losing. I don't think you understand how that works, Rebecca. That's supposed to be negative points.
Well, she did it right.
100 to Hodey for dolphin shaving like an Olympic swimmer. I'm still haired up, alas. 100 to Marcus for the shirt. I think I did that here, Archie. I do body hair on Saturdays. Thanks for the update, Dan. Team Hairless Dolphin. Neil's here. What's up, Neil? That Riot Show is here. Excellent. My man, Hodey. 100 to Hodey, long live House Harkonnen. 100 to Hodey for being born the day after me. Let's see. 50 to my man Hodey for being cool enough to host a show with me. Is that Big John?
That is Big John. That is the free for all. You know your stuff there, Free. Yeah, free for all. Thursday evenings at 10 p.m. We're an evening show, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Always have great guests, great conversations, deep dives into the stuff that happened during the week. And Big John, if you're not following him now, Big John on Twitter, one of the best people you will meet in the Liberty Movement.
I follow Big John. I don't think he follows me, but I follow him. I know what's up. You guys have a great show. John. You guys have a great show. Yeah, check that out. Did you talk about your other show too? You have the religious show, right?
So that's not a show. I am with the Love First Christians. The Love First Christians, we are a Christian, just a Discord online-based community, completely free to join. We do have weekly meetups where we kind of like a Mass Wednesdays. We talk about Bible studies. We talk about current events. We're reading through the whole Bible this year because we got a lot of new believers, and we wanted to make sure to kind of get them started well here. Lot of great, we have people, I mean, everything from new converts. We have non-believers who are just interested. And then we even have people that have been in like bishoprics for like 20 plus years. Really a great collection. If you ever had a criticism or you ever had a question that you felt like you were going to get judged for asking or bringing up, the Love First Christians will handle it with love. We just appreciate you guys for contacting us. But yeah, it's a Discord-based community. I really appreciate the chance to plug that, guys. All my Love First Christians there in the comments. I really appreciate and love you guys.
Should I apologize to them now for something stupid I say, or should we keep the suspense on that?
No. We are heavily not stick in the mud. I have accidentally sworn during those Wednesday masses before, so it is cool.
Nicho's here. Says, I miss doing shows like this. Nice to see it. You should come on sometime. He's from the Corey Miller show with Corey, Angela, Brian, among others. Betsy's here. 100 for the tie. We know who that's for.
She
One of
picked it
my-
out. Thanks, Mom.
Rebecca, I literally said you. How do I get in trouble? I'm literally hosting the show. I think I'm the only one talking most of the time. 100 to Tone Loc for making a rare special celebrity appearance.
It's
I get 100.
TONELOC.
I get it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's Loc.
There you go. 100 for repping You Are the Power. Steven's here. What's up, Steven? Libertarian, the chair of the Libertarian Party, and he's been on a couple times, did a great job. 100 to Hodey for his birthday. 100 to Hodey for having the Mountain Dew Code Red in his fancy mug. 100 to Hodey for Love First Christian Talks. Shout out to Love First Christians. Morals in this economy, minus 100 to Hodey. I knew it was going to bite you a little bit.
Just gonna have to eat that one. Yeah.
Yeah, your brother gave you points for shamelessly plugging something that isn't a cult. And then 100 to Hodey for Love First Christians, respectfully, including non-Christians in this discussion. And I think we're caught up. Lots of love to Hodey on his birthday, so that's cool.
Yeah, we're getting smoked already, bro. He's out of the gates, and we're sitting here. Joe and I are sitting here looking at each other, and he's about a third of the way down the track.
Yeah, you don't want to see the scoreboard right now. Yeah, he's lapped you guys a couple of times.
My dome is not hiding much brain, so now begins the part where things fall apart.
I just see you're playing chess, not checkers, because you were on X talking like, "Oh my God, I'm with these guys," and blah blah blah. And then we come on here and you're smoking us like a doobie at a Bob Marley concert. So let's stop with the nonsense. This isn't checkers. This is chess. And Joe and I just need to step our game up at this point.
Hodey did it all. He invited his friends. He dressed up. He went aerodynamic in case there was a swimming event. And now he's just going to take a knee for the rest of the time. He's just going to take a knee and run out the clock. All right. So we are on YouTube and Rumble. You can find us there in case X continues to hate on me. My shirts are on freedomsuperstore.com. You can get, I'm wearing the Make Anarchy Great Again one tonight. You can get my other car as a Killdozer, Satoshi for President, Taxation is Theft, and a few others. We have mugs too. And please share this out. X is trying to throttle me again, so we appreciate any help we get. If someone were to win tonight, and it sounds like it's going to be Hodey, he would get the Ron Paul holding the Ron Paul trophy. Like I mentioned, Ron Paul's birthday, 90th birthday is tomorrow. We also have the Ron Paul and the Murray Rothbard bobbleheads. We have the Mike Johnson signature cologne Swamp Ass, as well as the Ayn Rand Fountainhead teddy bear. And of course, we have the Lego Killdozer, because nobody talks about the Killdozer more than me and Casey. So the rules are, I am the government. Whatever I say goes. Scoring errors count. Life isn't fair. Suck it up, Buttercup. Nobody cares. The rules are you can debate each other, veto an answer, tariff an answer, redistribute an answer. Everyone starts off with negative 500 points because, of course, the government gets paid first. Here's how scoring works. The chat controls the score. As you've seen by us going through the chat, you can give or take up to 100 points from contestants. Or if you're the great Spike Cohn, you can give 37 trillion, but just Spike can do that. And you can give us a reason. You don't have to give us a reason. It could be about the game. It could be about anything you want. If you want to talk about, more about our spokesmodel, Hodey Johns, you can do that. Feel free. So lightning round. So I'm going to put Terry in the back. She's controlling the chat and the scoring. Make her life hard, as I like to say. And thank you, Terry. All right. To you, Joe Hannoush, lightning round. Foreign policy costs is the category. Does foreign aid buy peace or just fund corruption?
Does foreign aid buy peace or just
Fund
corruption? Foreign aid does not buy peace at all. It buys war, so it's the other thing. And usually that war is funded via special, like defense contractors, friends of members of Congress and whatnot. So yeah, it is corruption. 100% corruption, and it's the opposite of peace. It funds war.
I gave you two options. You just needed to pick one of them. It was pretty straightforward.
I went 100% one way and 100% the other way too.
Yeah,
I'm gonna have to veto that answer
Okay.
Studies show that cuts to U.S. aid will kill about 14 million people. Now, here's the thing about that number. As we all know, the government is wasting the vast majority of that. It is falling into corrupted people's pockets, but we never want to discount the people who actually are getting the crumbs from all of this fallout. We do want to help people. Foreign aid done by government, one of the most evil things that we can see, one of the most wasteful, not a good way to send money to these people. Foreign aid, when we are talking about we as human beings, we as libertarians need to step up and say, hey, listen, if U.S. aid isn't going to do the job, we love our neighbors. We got you.
All right.
That's true. I do want to say, Hodey, you did good there, correcting me. I should have said government aid is bad. Individual aid can be a thing for peace and positivity and helping.
I put a landmine out there right away for you, Joe.
Step
All
right
right.
on.
Marcus, to you. Do wars abroad make Americans less safe at home?
Absolutely. And the primary reason behind that is they're creating enemies, generational enemies. And there hasn't been a war. I bring this up often on my podcast. There hasn't been a war of the 19th or 20th century that hasn't directly led to another war or conflict. So this ongoing loop of exchanging fire, so to speak, has done nothing for mankind but exacerbate the problem.
Okay. Hodey, to you. Should the U.S. military defend only U.S. borders?
No, because the U.S. military shouldn't even do that. Having a standing army creates more problems than it fixes. If you think this sounds like an insane anarchist position, I encourage you to look up Dwight D. Eisenhower. This guy's not an anarchist. This guy was a general. He wanted to disband the military because it wasn't safe. And the thing is, when we are outsourcing our defense to the government, we are saying, please take this from us. And we train people that they don't have to handle it here at home. That's how people suddenly start giving away their rights to self-defense, because we say, what do I need that for? Somebody else has it for me. The U.S. military has done more, as Marcus mentioned in his last answer, to put us in danger by not being defense, but offense. I don't want them even at the border. Absolutely not. Welcome people in. We don't need libertarians that say, get off of our lawn. We have more of that. We want libertarians that say, get onto my lawn. I want you to meet people like Joe and Marcus. I want you to meet people like Terry and Free, because you can't meet us and live with us and share in our culture and reject that. You can't reject that freedom, right? I'm not wanting to keep people out. And as the great Ron Paul said, these militaries at the borders, they more often get used to keep people in the end. We're not setting ourselves up for dystopianism right now. I know a lot of libertarians love to say, like, oh, instead of going overseas, be at the border. I don't want them in my backyard, and I don't want them in your backyard. I don't want them in anybody's backyard. Freedom for everybody, no matter what.
Can I add to that?
Absolutely.
Globally, borders are set for the most part. There's ethnic things that go on and they may cross borders, but anytime somebody does an excursion into somebody else's sovereign land, the whole world needs to unite behind that sovereign land and go against the aggressor, because we're not in that colonial or imperialism era at this point in time. So anything that is an invasion of another foreign land, and that goes especially for the United States, should be against international consensus.
Okay. All right. Back to Joe. Category is military industrial complex. Is perpetual war a business model, not a mistake?
It's both, really. War does create business for sure, because it expends money. So there is people being put to work and businesses making money with war. But it's also a mistake, because it's usually being funded to corruption, and it's usually leading to deaths of innocent people and increasing the debt. We're using deficit spending for this. So it's inflationary to everybody. And yeah, so it's both.
All right. Marcus, to you. Do weapons companies run U.S. foreign policy?
No, I would say the business class, aside from the weapons industry, run foreign policy because it's economic interests that dictate foreign policy first, and the support system for those economic interests is the defense industry.
Okay. Hodey, to you. Do defense jobs keep Americans hooked on war spending?
They don't keep Americans hooked on war spending. They keep politicians hooked on war spending. The market economy is ready to go. We've inflated how many things? Medicine is 98% plus what it should actually cost. People can buy 2-story houses on like from Home Depot for like $20,000, right? But we've inflated that price as well. We are eager to spend this money somewhere and anywhere else. And we would spend it here on luxuries. We would spend it on doing fun things, podcasts and barbecues and creative ventures for people. But instead, politicians want to keep us hooked on this military industrial complex. These people know where their bread is buttered. It's not Americans that are hooked on this. It's our overlords. They're the ones who know where their checks are coming from. And in order to keep their power cycling, this is what they do. Listen, when this got debated, Keynes v. Hayek, right? Highly recommended book. Got to read it. But when you read Keynes v. Hayek, Hayek warned this is exactly what was going to happen. And Keynes, to his credit, agreed with him. This will be perpetual war. You will develop an economy entirely based on war, and it will never go away. The capitalists, despite being defeated in the war in public opinion, were absolutely undefeated when it came to the facts. We absolutely need to get these politicians to stop being addicted to that. And that means holding them accountable, and it means pushing for free markets out of their control. Because as long as they have control of the markets, they're going to keep rewarding the people that pay them. And right now, that's the military-industrial complex.
All right, let me jump into the chat here. And Marcus, I think there's a little interference coming through your microphone if you know what that is. But all right, so Scientific says, how is Marcus the only one with glare from Hodey's head? 100 to Marcus, that's very impressive. 500 to Marcus for the doobie at the Marley concert conference. Let's see. 100 to Marcus for calling out my underhanded tactics. 100 to everyone who was born. There we go. Grumpy's here. What's up? 100 to Joe because he's the most under rap. 100 to Marcus for the, what is up with all these words? Mule tree?
It's the Fort Moultrie flag. It's a Revolutionary War flag. Only flag I fly at my house.
There we go.
It's in Liberty. Yeah, that one.
Nice. All right. 100 to Joe because he's the most underappreciated Jesus cosplayer and libertarian. That was the rest of that. That's where that went. 100 to Terry for getting Florida's Jesus on the game show. Oh, Phil's here. What's up, Phil? Check out the LPA podcast too. They're doing great stuff. 100 to Hodey for always dressing like he's going to walk into a boardroom or a Bible study. Minus 200 to Joe for thinking he's a real libertarian. Eric's here. What's up, Eric? Eric was on a couple weeks ago. 100 to Marcus because he's black. This is reparations. Now he can stop bringing it up. Yeah, that's you guys talk about that a little bit on your show. That's for sure.
Thanks, Eric.
Sarah gave 100 to Hodey. Merry Birthmas to Hodey. I think that counts. Spike just won the show. That's fair. 100 to Rebecca for everything she does for You Are the Power, which I did bring up. 8 is a 730 split for corruption versus peace. 200 to Marcus for the Forever Wars answer. You didn't reference Ron Paul was right. 100 to Marcus for the hand gestures while he talks, very interactive. 100 to Hodey for being all get off my lawn. Get on my lawn. Get on my lawn. Yep. I read real fast sometimes. 100 to Hodey for saying bordertarians getting BTFO'd. 500 to Hodey for outsourcing protection. Minus 100 to Hodey for not having gnomes at the border, stopping from the unwanted from coming in. Because if group projects in school taught us anything, it's that there are always people who do nothing and expect everything. Minus 100 to Joe for lying about knowing Joe. I think that's your shirt, Joe.
Actually, doesn't.
Yeah. Depends on who's asking. If it's the Daytona Beach Police, yeah. 100 to Hodey for having headphones that double as a VR set. 100 to Hodey for showing that politicians hate barbecues. 100 to Hodey because overlord is a cool word. 100 to Hodey. 100 to Hodey for economics. Go Hodey. Welcome, Dana. 100 to Hodey for Keynes versus Hayek, although I prefer the music video. And 100 to Hodey for naming sources. So lots going on in the chat. Keep Terry busy. She already looks frazzled back there, which is the way we like her. All right. Back to you, Joe. Categories constitutional authority. Did the founders intend Congress to control war?
It depends on what you mean by control. They are responsible for making a declaration of war, but the president executes the war. So it depends on what you mean.
Okay.
I'll redistribute the answer because I'd be interested in Marcus's perspective on this as well. I think that there's a little bit of some of the founders did want that, right? They weren't of a mind. A lot of them wanted them to have more war powers. Some of them wanted to have less. It's a little bit different. So we can't say like the founders as though they are one single Borg. But I mean, that's how it goes. The war is wrong regardless. This is the problem with making compromises with status, right? We compromised on Black people being slaves. Oops, bit us in the butt, right? Shouldn't have done that. We should have stood firm on our principles. The Libertarian Party learned that one in a pretty painful way just recently. But yeah, Marcus, what do you think of that?
I think the founders in the world that they lived in didn't envision this country engaging in international affairs to the point where it was killing other people. And with that being said, I don't think they would have created a standing army for nothing other than defense. And this country has become so corrupted in the, unfortunately, from the vulture capitalists. That's what I call them, the vulture capitalist aspect, where they're going around the world and just basically taking what they want and using U.S. foreign policy to do it. I don't think that was the original vision of this nation.
All right. Marcus, question to you. Should the Supreme Court strike down undeclared wars?
Absolutely. And the reason I say that is because the power of the purse, the power to declare war is a representative aspect of this republic. It is the people that say, okay, these people attacked us. As a nation, we are prepared to go and defend ourselves against these people. This is not a singular act of aggression by somebody who thinks that this foreign country or whatever foreign aspect is a threat to our civilization. There is not one nation on this earth that could defeat the United States in any form of conventional warfare. And we're not, and even in the nuclear aspect, which is the worst possible aspect, there isn't one nation that could withstand a nuclear strike from the United States. So this whole thing that these people are a threat to us is just the fear factor that politicians need to sell you because they don't have any good ideas to run on. The only thing they can run on is fear.
A quick tariff on that answer because I love it, but I'm just going to tack on a little bit here. The last time the U.S. declared war, 1942. A little less known fun fact, we declared that war not against Germany, not against Japan, but Bulgaria, Hungary, and Romania. That is the last war that we were authorized to be part of. It is ridiculous, and Marcus is correct. The Supreme Court should absolutely strike them down.
All right, Hodey, to you. Financial accountability is the category. Should presidents present war budgets before combat?
It's the taxpayer money they're stealing and using. And so should I have to tell the person if I'm going to steal how much I'm going to take from them to do it, how much their defense is going to cost? Absolutely. Listen, if this were a voluntary system, it's not like we would just lay down and have no self-defense. When we look up successful anarchies in Wikipedia, ones that, didn't collapse on their own, they absolutely had defensive pacts, defensive rights. They were able to come together and defend themselves. We should absolutely be able to do the same, if we give it up voluntarily. If they're going to rob us of the ability to voluntarily defend ourselves, or let's be honest here, voluntarily commit genocide overseas or help people commit genocide overseas, the least you can do while you're murdering other people is tell me exactly how much you're going to steal from me in order to blow up brown children who I have no quarrel with, so that we can make future terrorists for the, that my kids will have to deal with.
All right, Joe, to you. Should borrowing for war be banned outright?
Interesting question. I don't know. That's very interesting. I think throughout history we've borrowed money to fund wars, and well, I guess the Congress would enact, the declaration of war, and they would fund it. How they would fund it? They could do it by bonds, or I'm not really in favor of the government holding on to a bunch of cash either. So it's a very interesting question. I don't know. That's a good question. I got to think about it. I'll be happy to listen to the other contestants, see what they say.
Let me just move on. I think you covered the different aspects of it. All right, Marcus, to you. Categories: time limits and sunset clauses. Should all war authorizations expire after 90 days?
I want to start off this answer by saying Casey has been my arch nemesis this entire time. For what reason, I don't know, other than I beat him last time I was on this podcast. And I
don't know what you're talking about here. I think Marcus, he gave you points for admitting you carry a purse. So I mean, I feel like that's
and that's why I'm starting off this answer that way. And I believe every federal action, whether it be a declaration of war, a law, or whatever they do, a presidential declaration, whatever, should have a sunset, should have a time limit. Now that varies per event or proclamation, but absolutely there should be no permanent or indefinite time frame to any action by the government, because we should always be able to go back and see, was that a good idea? So 100%, 90 days, 30 days, hell, every other week, like if most Americans gets paid, the government should go back and figure out, should we be doing this?
Okay.
I'm going to go ahead and debate just a little bit there, because I think, Marcus, you're giving a good answer. At least there's a sunset here. What should the sunset be, though? It should be an accomplishment, right? Why do we go to war? Oh, to actually do something. We're not fighting time. We're not fighting durations. If we say we want to go to war because we want Hitler dead, or we want the Jews out of concentration camps, then we should just be able to say that. And if we expand this concept a bit, not just to war, but everything else, imagine if we said, oh, hey, you've got an Inflation Reduction Act. Well, this act is gone, torn up and shredded unless inflation actually goes down, right? Like, you actually have to do what you say you're going to set out to do in the bill. We currently have a screen right? It says, oh, we want to shield kids from pornography. And I'm looking at it, and literally it's banning kids from being able to report sexual assault that's done to them. It's banning them be able to look up that kind of information. And so you need to be able to say, oh, here are the goals. And if you don't accomplish those goals, this bill goes straight in the shredder. We should be doing that not only with wars, but with every single piece of legislation.
I concur, and I just want to add one thing onto that. The government has been saying it's been winning the war on drugs for 54, 55 years. It's been winning the war on terror for 24 years or so. The government is not the entity to tell us what success is what I would just add to that. But I agree.
Great points.
Love it.
All right. So this is to Hodey. Should 9/11 authorizations be retired permanently?
Yeah. Patriot Act, ability to declare drone wars, faceless surveillance systems. And we've seen how those have been abused. Like I just said a moment ago, If you're not accomplishing what you set out to do, then you deserve to be retired. By the FBI's own statistics, what is the greatest deterrent to terrorism? It's not the FBI. It's not government surveillance. What is the thing that makes people come forward and say, I know about something and there's a real problem? It's because they end up loving somebody that would have been the target of their attacks. It's neighbors changing their tires, shoveling snow from their driveway. It's taking care of those who we feel are different, who may even be hostile towards us. This is big on my work with the Love First Christians, right? Who is my neighbor? The man asked. And who does Jesus say is your neighbor? The Samaritan, the person that the Jews hate more than anyone else in the world. We literally use their little commune that we forced them to live in and put lepers there because we don't care about them getting sick. Exactly everyone was hoping who you weren't going to say. We want to outsource. Again, problem is outsourcing this. We are trying to outsource this to government. Please protect us from terrorism. When the power to dismantle that overwhelmingly is not in the hands of the government, it is in your hands. It is in your ability to love your neighbor. We have allowed a cultural rot to happen because we say, I don't need to love my neighbor. I have the FBI. The FBI will help shut everything down, so I don't have to care about any of this. No, absolutely not. We are better people when we all take responsibility as a society, as libertarians, Christians, Muslims, whoever else, right? That we take that responsibility to say, I will love my neighbor because my neighbor then won't harm me. A little bit of historical fact here, right? Just some fun nugget of info. The English occupation in India ended not because they lacked the firepower, but because the fingers on the trigger said, I will not pull this trigger on people that have shown me love and kindness. This was a huge revolutionary thing, and we should stop trying to fight the government with nukes and jets. They own the nukes and jets. We should stop trying to fight each other with guns and anger and hatred. Self-defense, of course, we should have those guns, don't get me wrong. But when we actually have a quarrel, our first step shouldn't be, I can't wait to shut this guy down. It should be, I can't wait to listen to this person, right? This is the problem. This is how we create these 9/11s. We didn't love them enough, right? There's always going to be evil, hateful, angry people. But if they start yelling into the void, let's kill these Americans. And they say, what are you talking about? The Americans have loved us. They care about us. They constantly invite us into their homes. They share meals with us. They're good trade partners with us, right? Where goods cross borders, troops don't, is the famous quote, right? We have the ability to stop all these 9/11s without doing what we did after 9/11, which has only created, if you look at this statistically, it's not concentrated anymore. We don't see single 9/11s anymore, but terrorism's just as bad. It's just as bad today. We declared a war on terror and didn't stop it. We declared a war on drugs and didn't stop it. Why? Because we are fighting fire with fire and not fighting hate with love. We need to fight fire with water.
100 to Hodey for the Rising Tide sermon. I really thought that was an epic answer to that question.
All right. Yeah, it was a great answer.
Thank you.
Scores. Enter your scores in the chat if you haven't already. Let's jump in the chat here and see what people are saying. Terry got a lot of points for managing this 3-ring circus. Absolutely. Cy dropped his phone. Minus 100 to Joe. Free Ian, free Roman, free Roger, free Dexter. 100%. Roman Storm just got convicted, so he'll be trying to probably raise more funds for his appeal. That's another one that's complete BS. 100 to Joe for acknowledging he loses, so humble. 100 to Joe for never giving up. Oh, hey, Leslie, how are you? Minus 100 to Hodey for taxing. 100 to Hodey for historical knowledge. 100 to Marcus for recognizing America just be building-ish, and it's only competing with itself at this point. Also 100 to Hodey for historical accuracy. 100 to Pale Vin Diesel. I think that's Marcus.
No, it's not.
Is that not Marcus? Sorry. I'll leave that for Terry to straighten out.
That was me.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I forget who that is. 100 to Marcus for the satchel. See, the satchel's working out well for you. Casey helped you out there. 500 to Casey for being Marcus's mortal enemy. That's fair. Sean's here. What's up, Sean? 41 to Hodey because that head is just too shiny. Retard News is here. What's up? Figured out how to get in the chat. That's great. 100 to Marcus for walking Hodey into the sunset. That does have a ring to it. The benevolence is here. 100 to Hodey for the finger wag. Minus 100 from the government for losing the war on drugs. Yeah, that was a big loss. 500 to Hodey for faceless surveillance systems looking at you, Flock. 100 to Hodey for the power of love. 100 to Hodey from my husband because he says you look alike. Sarah says 100 for political empathy. 100 to Hodey for basically advocating for distributionism. Minus 100 for rehearsing. 100 to Hodey because I just shouted amen. 100 to Hodey epic. 100 to Hodey feels like eye contact should be every virtual interview handbook, staring into my soul, making me question my life. 100 to Marcus for being nice to me. Oh, there we go. Amity's here. What's up, Amity? 100 to everyone because I just got here from a sushi dinner. All right. So let's jump into the scores here. I think we all know where this is headed.
Yeah, I'm not even.
Yeah. Y'all are playing for second place at this point. So let's see what we got. Hodey 2141, Marcus 1100, and Joe's in the positive. I think this is the first time Joe's ever been in the positive in 8 appearances. So congratulations on that, Joe.
I'll take it.
Yeah. So Hodey, your first time here and you're running away with it. What do you think so far?
I think that I have stacked the deck a little too heavily. It's like when you put too many ace of spades in the deck and then people start to be like, wait a minute, I think this thing is loaded. So I want to thank both my opponents for being kind. I knew I was going to need a little help to beat their brilliant minds. I may have accidentally cheated a little too hard.
You rigged it. You rigged the game. And like my good friend Lars Knapp said, you rigged the system. And, I'm not hating on that because this is what you need to do in America to be successful. Put every card you can in your deck and let everybody else flounder in the wind. So, well, I'm gonna flop all over this the rest of the show, but great freaking answers. I salute you, bro.
I think your Fisher Price microphone is letting you down there, Marcus. I don't know what is going on there.
I'm sorry. Is that better?
Nobody can hear you at all, and then you got the West Coast vernacular that nobody understands. I think
How's that? Is that better?
There's just like a little interference. I was just giving you crap.
Okay.
Am I the only one here without a legitimate microphone?
No, at this point, no.
Yeah. Marcus is plugged into a block of cheese at this point, I think.
Yeah, I mean government cheese at that.
Yeah. And so Joe, you haven't been on in a while. What do you think so far?
Oh, it's been fun, and I got to give props to both Marcus and Hodey here. They've been giving great answers, very thoughtful answers, better answers than me, frankly. I'll admit when I'm in third place, the points are correct. The audience has the correct answers, the points so far. So props to them. I'm just happy to be above water. Thank you.
So you're kind of the hanging Chad in this scenario.
I don't know what that means.
You're from Florida.
You make me feel so old.
The hanging Chad? No, I know what the hanging Chad means. I was a hanging Chad. I remember that. I just don't know how it means in this context. So it
doesn't mean anything. I just said it. So
okay.
Grumpy says he loves government cheese. So yeah, there you go. All right, let's get back to it. Joe, to you. Categories federal spending. Is Washington bankrupting America to buy votes?
Yes, they are, because both Republicans and Democrats, yes, I'm going to call both sides out here, are promising the people, the voters, if they vote for them, they're going to use government to extort we the people to fund X, Y, and Z for them. And it's big government, it's growing government. Both sides do it, and both sides don't want to reduce government later on. Only when they're on the losing side. Like Democrats right now, they're in the minority. They're saying, oh, now they want to be fiscally responsible. And when they're in the majority, it's Republicans saying, oh, we need to be fiscally conservative again. But whenever they control the majority, when people elect them to do things, they just grow government. So yes, it's absolutely buying votes, and it's extorting we the people to do it. It's disgusting.
Marcus, to you. Should every budget be balanced, no exceptions?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
You sound great.
Okay. Yes. Every budget. You can't live in America as a normal citizen without balancing your budget. That's just the bottom line. Governments should take firm care of the finances that they steal from us. Therefore, they shouldn't be borrowing and making bad financial decisions and not being held accountable.
I don't think it was your distance to the microphone. It's just there's some weird interference with it. So I don't know what it is. Like your gains turned up or something. You probably have those fancy buttons or something.
I do have a lot of fancy buttons.
That's probably it. Hodey, to you. Should earmarks be banned forever?
Yes. All right. Now the challenge is elaborating on this one here. Listen, an earmark is these omnibus bills, these extra spendings. Who knows what we tack onto it? In Trump's One Big Beautiful Bill Act, one of the first earmarks right off the bat is price controls, mandating the prices of groceries. Everybody's like, oh, why did the prices of all our groceries spike last month? Because we did Soviet-style price controls. It's literally written right into the bill as an earmark. Who are the people getting rewarded? These American agriculture companies, sure. But, you know, the free market certainly has less competition, and that's a bad thing for us. Other earmarks in that same bill. Oil. We are now required, America is required to buy X amount of oil, even if we don't need it. We're required to buy it. So now these guys get to pump out oil from these fuel sources that are less efficient than thorium, nuclear, you name it, anything, right? We've been looking to these fossil fuels because they're just established. And now we're required to buy it from them. We're not allowed to look at other resources. We're not allowed to do all this other stuff. Earmarks mess us up in every way possible because it's always doing a favor for some or the other politician. And who pays the price? It's always the Americans. It's always the American consumer. And to bounce off of what Mark had said in the last question, who pays this price? It's our kids, right? Our dollars are worth less. Even if we say, sure, I'll work that 60-hour week. I'll work that 65-hour week. I'll work that 68-hour week. We're telling our kids, cool, and you're cool, pick up this tab. You work that 73-hour week, that 75-hour week. In the past 40 years alone, largely due to these earmarks, we have gone from a country that can support a single income with a 38-hour work week per household to the average household working over 68 hours just to sustain the same living standard. It's absolutely ridiculous what earmarks are doing. We should vote line by line. If there's to be a government at all, I'm an anarchist, but if there's to be a government at all, we need to vote on single pieces of legislation at a time, tying in all these earmarks, giving all these politicians, and let's be honest, the politicians and their friends, the war machines, the people that don't want competition from other countries, the anti-immigrant folks. I don't want to pay them a dime. Get those earmarks out of here.
All right. Joe, to you. Categories debt and deficits. Does the national debt make America weaker?
Absolutely. Yes, 100%. It deflates our dollar. And a cheaper dollar makes the foreign money more valuable. So they could buy stuff from here a lot easier and whatnot. And sometimes that might be a good thing, but not for Americans trying to do trying to like go anywhere else, like try to have like free trade anywhere. So yeah, it's inflationary. It's the government stealing from the people via devaluation of the dollar. You know, if you go back 100 years, the dollar was worth like 99 times what it's worth right now. So yeah, it's stealing. It's Americans work all their lives for making money, and the government just deflates it away. So, and on top of that, they tax it. So yeah, inflation is a backdoor tax, and like spending is what causes that. So okay.
Scientific. Hold on a second. Scientific wants to know if you drywalled a wang on your wall, but he gave you 100 points for it. So
just to tariff that answer real quick, just to add a quick little thing.
We were doing something very serious there. Like,
okay.
Could you? I'm kidding. Go ahead.
Minus 100 for me to being the no fun police here. Think about who we owe that debt to, because what is debt? It's not just like a negative bank account, right? It's people who buy our bonds and expect payment later, right? We say we'll give you guaranteed more money later if you buy a certain amount now. And who do we owe this money to? It's a lot of people that aren't exactly our friends. So Joe is correct. This is why I'm not debating or refuting his answer here. But we need to look at, not only are we ceding away our power and it makes Americans more in danger, but look who we're actually ceding that danger to, who we're giving that power to. Now they have more control over our debt. If even one of those countries decides to sell off our debt, triggers off an entire domino effect. And that will happen as soon as Americans start to say, like, I don't know if I can work an 80-hour work week anymore. It's really sad.
All right. So next question's to Marcus. Should debt repayment come before new spending?
I think every American that has to run a household will tell you yes. And I just want to say I'm impressed with Hodey and Joe tonight. They're making me kind of self-conscious. And I'm showing you, for points, an emotional moment here. And I just want to tell everybody listening and watching that while I'm the only real libertarian, I believe that debt is death. It's something that's going to bring about the fall of this country, because Abraham Lincoln is not one of my favorite presidents, but he did say the only way that this country will fail if we fail nationally within ourselves. And that's what debt is, because it makes no sense to have outstanding debts, like Hodey was saying, to countries like China, that is one of the major holders of debt and is not our friends. So if you want debt, you want something that's going to rob and steal from future generations, and there's no end to it in sight with this current avalanche that we're sliding down in the United States.
Totally agree, except for the part about you being the only real libertarian. I still don't agree with that part. But
Okay.
All right, Hodey, do you? Does endless debt mean the dollar will collapse?
All right, let's wiggle into this a little bit here. We have, through Keynesian economics, we know how to create more debt, and the government knows exactly what rate that is, so that they can keep selling a certain amount of bonds to other countries, to other people, to other foreign interests, whoever it may be that wants to buy them. And they know they want to keep that right on the edge of breaking point. And that's what they do. That's what they've always done, right? People have always felt a little bit robbed. Even when they were working 38-hour weeks, they were like, man, I'd sure like to work for 30-hour weeks, but the government's stealing this, that, and the other. We see this just trickle down and down and down. And now we say, oh, well, the wife and husband can work. Why not? Let's send them both to the workforce. Oh, and now where we're at. Oh, now your teenage son can work to help support that same house you had before, right? Sure. And so we keep just tacking on little by little. There's a reason that this is very rarely cataclysmic. The dollar won't collapse all at once. This is, obviously everything comes to an end. Somebody's going to do the math wrong. One of the things that we make the mistake with doing is attributing to the government stupidity when they are actually very smart and very evil, right? They know what they are doing. I worked for the GOP for a while. Go ahead and minus 1 billion points from that if you want. I apologize, right? Worked from the GOP for a bit. I've seen this from the inside. Some of these people are very brilliant, but they are brilliant in ways that snooker you, in ways that fool you, in ways that trick you. And so what this debt is going to do is they're going to keep it right at the breaking point the whole time. Because the more it hurts, the more tired you are, the less energy you have to commit revolution against them. Tired, beaten down, starving people. Listen, I feel for hard workers out there that say, I don't want to work these 70-hour weeks, and then go turn on a podcast to listen to people argue and hate. I don't want to listen to politics, right? I don't want to be a part of this system. If I have to work these 70-hour weeks, can I spend the free time that I have with my wife and not care about this stuff? Can I spend life with my kids? And our answer to them should be yes. But those people are kept in that situation, right on the edge of breaking point by design. This is how the federal government works when they issue these bonds. They're in control of that, and they are going to decide exactly what that breaking point is. And we have made so many concessions to other countries so that we're right on the edge, but not quite over of selling off this debt. Somebody's going to mess it up eventually. But I don't like the fear mongering when we say, oh, the dollar is going to collapse next year, next week or something. The politicians are too evil for that. They are evil geniuses. They are not evil idiots. If they were evil idiots, libertarians would own this country, but they're not, right? Instead, we have tired, battered down, and beaten people.
Okay. Joe, to you, new category, borrowing practices. Should Congress be banned from borrowing for everyday spending?
Man, I can't believe I got to follow Hodey after that. Jeez. Yes, the Congress should be banned from borrowing because we need to balance the budget because they're borrowing from us and they're using debt to do it. So while it's not called a tax, they are taxing us because they're devaluing our dollar. So yeah, we need to have a balanced budget. Like we're going down the wrong way, and there's going to be a point where we slip through that ice, that thin ice that the debt is right now. As Hodey mentioned earlier, if these governments want to call back their debt, we're in trouble, and we're going to see extremely high inflation. That I'm not a collapsitarian where the government has to be destroyed completely, and people have to be eating their pets or something on the street in order for us to get a Javier Milei elected president here. I prefer to just roll back what we have now, and to do that, we gotta have a balanced budget. We gotta reduce the debt.
All right, Marcus, to you. Does borrowing hide the true size of government?
I don't think so. I think the government has done such a sophisticated job of hiding its true size. And you saw that with the big, beautiful bill, the Build Back Better. I don't know what all the B's are for over the last few years, but government in itself, when the big, beautiful bill came, people were like, government's too big. When the Build Back Better came, people were like, government's too big. And both sides are right. But when one side is in power, they don't see. There's one thing about Democrats and Republicans, and it always astounds me. They make the smartest people I know some of the stupidest people I know. And that's strictly because they refuse to see logic because they want to own the other side. It's all about, yeah, look at you, you're miserable, I'm winning. And that's the capitalistic competition aspect of Americans, but nobody's winning. And that's where I think libertarians fail, is to send that message out. You're not winning just because you pissed off your neighbor. You're losing just like they're losing because nothing changes.
Okay.
I'm gonna tack on to Marcus's answer real quick here. He's absolutely right. They aren't spending big money so that they look small. They're spending it so they look big. How many people have you heard say $37 trillion? I can't even conceptualize that, right? And so the more it feels out of control, the more it feels like they need to have control of it, right? Even if they spent us into oblivion, we say, well, you take care of it. You spent us into oblivion. You deal with it, right? We don't want to know that we don't know that we are revenues for our government, $5.2 trillion a year. If we actually buckled down a little bit, cut down on, just take some minimums, right? All the unnecessary wars, all the waste done in Medicare and Medicaid, right? If we just do a couple of these and balance the budget, we could be out of debt in like 20 years, right? And not really feel the strain at all. Like just by getting rid of corruption and ending forever wars, we would be out of debt in our lifetimes. But what government does is they throw out these numbers. We have $37 trillion of debt. And that's $105 trillion of unfunded debt that we still owe the Americans, by the way. It seems undoable. And so we just say, boy, that step's way too big. I better trust the government with it. No, we are the power. You are the power. We have the power in our pockets. They just want it to look big. But this is something, there's nothing that culture and society can't fix. We will overcome these problems. We might not be perfect, not promise a utopia, but we can fix it.
All right. And it's your question now, Hodey. Should new spending require new revenue?
Should new spending require new revenue? Boy, that's tough because you've really gimped me there, because obviously there shouldn't be any new spending. New revenue? You know what? No, I'm going to say no. No to all this here. Because when the government sees a new source of revenue, what's the first thing they do is say, you see this with when Cuomo was running New York, right? Oh, we saved $2,000 on this bus meter proposal. So now we have the money to spend, this bridge that I'm sure is going to be on budget and on time. And I'll build that bridge for $100 and we'll still have money left over. They never have money left over. When the government sees like marijuana and they're like, all right, we'll legalize it if we can tax it into oblivion, right? Like if we can really just get this new revenue source. No, right? I don't want them to have new revenues from anywhere. I don't want them, because what this is going to do, if I say yes to this question, is going to get them to go find new revenue sources. What are they doing to people on PayPal right now? What are they doing to people with, GoFundMe's right now? They're trying to worm their way in there. That's the way they're going to find new revenue. Absolutely not. I don't want them seeking new revenue just so that they are authorized to spend more. Spending more is the reward. Revenue is just giving them a prey to be a predator on. So no.
Okay. Let me jump into the chat here and see how it's going. And let's see here. 100 to Hodey, because I have to AFK away from keyboard for a bit, and I figure he'll say something good while I'm gone. 100 to Hodey because he looks like free Tiger King. Yeah, we forgot Tiger King from the list of political prisoners. Minus 1,000 to Hodey for being a politician. 100 to Hodey for rigging the system better than the government ever could. 500 to Marcus. A wise man once told me, work the system and not let the system work you. 1,000 to Hodey for being the poster child for turtle wax. Maybe a sponsor. We love turtle wax, especially for heads. We do. Yeah. 100 to Joe for being humble. Go Hodey. Welcome Super Sim. 100 to Joe because he needs points. Well, that's the pity points for Joe. Good answers though. 800 to Joe for having stock in Tide Pods. That shirt has made more appearances than Nick Cannon has kids. Yep. We once just had the shirt on by itself. The shirt did a whole show by itself one time. 100 to Hodey for the pro free market. 200 to Marcus for having a great sounding microphone. Free has hearing problems. It's not the microphone, it's the interference. There's interference. I proved it by muting him. If you go back and you listen, you'll see
it's
what I'm talking about.
It's hot as hell in here right now.
Yeah, it's not though. It's like it sounds like someone's talking in the background or something. Like it's once every like 2 minutes or something. It's weird.
I did have a problem with my headphones, and now I have to use the speakers, so they're probably
that's probably what it is.
I'm sorry, I'm getting this fixed tomorrow.
So you're just wearing the headphones for balance? Is that what's going on?
It's for looks, yeah.
Yeah.
It's for aesthetics.
100 to Hodey for mentioning 4th gen nuclear. 100 to Hodey for mentioning thorium. 100 to Hodey for advocating for nuclear energy. 50 to Hodey for thinking of them kids. 100 to Hodey. 100 to Hodey for post-nuclear energy.
I wonder who's winning.
50 to Hodey for omnibus bills are presented as pork bills. The problem is that earmarks add spending to entirely unrelated bills as part of legislator compromise. 100 to Hodey for having a shirt that makes his eyes pop. 100 to Joe if he can do Rolf the Muppet dog impression. No. All right. Yeah, that counts.
I don't know.
100 to Joe because the chandelier looks like a plug. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. 100 to Hodey. IOUs are real. Terry, can you post Joe's GoFundMe? He really needs some wall art. Yeah, so if you put up a GoFundMe for him, that's nice. 100 to Hodey. He's the roomie of this K-pop trio of demon hunters. 100 to Mark Hud. Yeah,
that's me, baby.
I think that'll count. The dollar's lost 96 of its value in over a century. That is true. Minus 100 for calling the government smart. 100 to Hodey for exposing the GOP. Con artist prey on the gullible. 100 to Hodey. 100 to Marcus for getting all those B's in there and being absolutely correct on we are not winning. 100 to Joe, Marcus, and Hodey. State debt ceiling shouldn't be a legal term because a state that can't balance its budget should be dissolved. Minus 300 to Hodey for thinking 20 years is within my lifetime. Me too, Grumpy. Me too. 100 to Hodey for saying $37 trillion in a deep and evil voice. Yes. 50 to Hodey, Trump can't handle money. Hodey, you're going to throw off Freeze rotation if you keep tariffing all the answers. Yeah, he is for sure in Larry Sharp territory right now.
Is it that bad? Oh no.
You're Larry answers every question twice. You're getting close. You're like 1.5 right now.
I'll sequester myself.
No, you're fine. 100 to Hodey for the passionate arm gestures. Minus 75 Hodey, whack inflatable arm men are meant to sell cars, not talk politics. 100 for Hodey. 100 for Marcus for being the only real libertarian. What's up, D? Follow that Liberty lady. She does great work if you need some help. Minus 100 for Marcus for not knowing how tech works. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah. He's listening to yacht rock on his headphones, and it's interfering with my show and driving me crazy. 100 to Hodey for calling out the government's greedy fingers. 100 to Hodey for reminding me to limit my PayPal withdrawals, not to incur the tax man. 100 to Joe for having better hair than everyone on the screen. I have 3 hairs that compete with Joe's hair, I would like to say. Minus 25 to Hodey for reminding me for my slight gambling addiction. So yeah, lots going on in the chat, mostly about Hodey. Really, it's the Hodey show. The Hodey show.
Pretty much.
Yeah. All right, back to it. We'll let Joe and Marcus play this round.
Bye.
Category state and federal spending, Joe. Do federal strings attached rob states of freedom?
100%. The federal government gets its money from we the people and from the states. They should only be, if they're taking anything at all, they should only be taking exactly what they need that's constitutionally, in the Constitution to fund. Everything else should be, the 10th Amendment should be to the states or to the people. Like the government taking money from us in the states and then saying, oh, you have to build this highway down or have the speed limit down to like 75 miles per hour for us to give you your money back is complete BS. Like that should be like, we should be seceding for that. Like it's one of those things that are not talked about enough. And like in both sides do it. It's Republicans and Democrats are saying, we're not going to fund this thing. We're not going to give your state money if you're not doing this thing. We're doing it within our own state. Here in Florida, we have a governor who says we're not going to give the counties any money if they don't do this thing in their school or whatever. It's just a bunch of like government extorting other governments, really. It's like amazing. And everyone just is okay with it as long as it's their side doing the extortion of the other or the using government force on the other. It's disgusting and it needs to stop.
All right. Marcus, to you. Should states audit federal projects within their borders?
I don't think states should authorize federal projects within their borders without legislative or electoral actions. The states should have sovereign rights over what a federal government does in the states. And that's why I don't understand all these people that are cheering on mass federal agents invading cities throughout the United States that didn't ask for that help coming in and with no accountability and free will to do whatever they want. The federal government should not be in your state unless you invite them in. That goes for their projects, their law enforcement, their laws, whatever it may be, until it affects the Constitution. Because the Second Amendment is an absolute, and the state of California violates that at every aspect of its legislative process. So that's the exception to what I said prior to that.
Okay. Hodey, to you. We haven't heard from you in a while, Hodey. So let's throw you a question.
Thank you.
Does central spending undermine state independence? Easy for me to say.
Yeah. Of course it does, right? Like by definition, sometimes central spending says, hey, states, you can have this money if you behave this way, or you can't have money if you behave this way. Like this is literally trying to tell the states what to do. It tries to tell cities what to do, and it tries to tell individuals what to do. So of course it undermines everybody's independence, right? This is something that hoodwinks more politicians than you would think. We remember Ron Paul took it on the chin because he had to play ball in order to get highways done in his community, right? And the Liberty community gave him hell because he's like, sorry, we need this money for this highway. I'm not allowed to do this like voluntarily, so this is the system I have to work with. And unfortunately authorizes and even put in some of those earmarks, right? It makes even good people do bad things. This is the political system. How many of us, even in the Libertarian Party, and I want to say especially in the Libertarian Party, have found ourselves behaving in underhanded ways, in backstabbing ways, found ourselves gossiping and stuff, right? Like, of course, if we do it within our own party, doesn't this happen at the federal level as well? Absolutely. Absolutely, this happens. And so we need to understand that this is by design, that the feds, when they have central control, they can make whatever they want. They can all of a sudden just say, oh, all that money that you legally have to get from us for those schools, well, if you're not teaching this, you don't get it anymore, right? Now, ideally, no states exist, either at the state, federal, any level, right? Like at all. But if it must exist, then this centralized control must allow people to be as independent as possible and these states to be as independent as possible.
All right. Jody, you. Category, the drug war. Is the drug war the biggest failure in U.S. history?
Whoa. It is a huge failure by the government. No doubt about that. Is it the biggest one? And the government's put a lot of people in jail for a long time in all the cost of taxpayers. So it's been a huge loss. But is it the biggest one? I mean, the government has done a lot of bad stuff in the past on other things as well. Slavery. I mean, these foreign wars. It's been pretty bad. So I can't say it's the biggest one, but man, it's up there and it's one of the biggest. It's a huge one, like many things the government's done.
Yeah, that's a tough question for you there. Marcus, to you. Does prohibition create more crime than it stops?
Historically, yes. Because the most violent time, a lot of people want to talk about the crack wars of the 80s and 90s, but the most violent era in U.S. history was during alcohol prohibition. Alcohol prohibition created organized crime because that's what government does. Government must justify its existence, and therefore government passes laws, regulations, and every other thing that it needs to subjugate you. So yes, it is undoubtedly government's fault every single time.
All right. Hodey, to you. Does the drug war target the poor and minorities?
Dudoy. This is something that they have kind of from the beginning. This is the way they pitched it, right? This isn't like some like underhanded conspiratorial, like, no, we're just trying to protect anybody. No, they were like, listen, these poor minorities are going to get you. Oh, by the way, CIA, thank you for, not busting the kingpins that are actually putting the drugs into the hands of the poor and minorities. But after they're in the hands of the poor and minorities, that's when we're going to send in the feds, right? Bigotry is a huge part of government. Huge. Not just a little bit and not just America. This is a global issue and it has gone on for millennia. Anybody who wants to study this, I encourage you to read a book called The Myth of Race. While the Catholic Church was going around and witnessing and doing missionary work for people, that the state would be like, oh, well, those are just, unga bunga people. They don't speak any languages. And the Catholic Church was like, man, we spent missionaries there. They have math. They have language. They have culture. We just need to learn those things. They have all that stuff. And government's like, well, we don't get our slaves if we admit that you are right. And then you fast forward all the way to the guarded gate here in the United States. The people who introduced the restrictionist immigration policy in the United States, after their work was discredited and all of them were proven wrong, they did one of two things. They either stayed in America and admitted that their work was fabricated, or they went to Nazi Germany and started the Holocaust, right? Bigotry is a huge part of what keeps government functioning, because as long as I hate my neighbor, as long as I hate my brother and sister, what does that hate drive me to do? I'm not thinking rationally. Hate's not a rational feeling. So I do irrational things. I say, yeah, let's get this politician in there. Sure, he's not perfect, but they're going to take care of this business for me, right? Let's go ahead and get them in there. So what do? I associate these drugs, weed, crack, whatever, with black people. Oh, but what about the drugs the white people do? What about my caffeine? What about my large soda? What about sugary, fatty stuff that is statistically more likely to kill me than drugs? Oh, no, that's perfectly fine. That's perfectly legal. That's not dangerous. You can handle that, Mr. Overweight white person, but you got to crack down on the blacks. Oh, I'm sorry. I mean, crack down on the crack. Sorry about that. Slipped out there for a second. We need to love each other, and that is the solution to all this, right? Love one another, and that way the government has no leg to stand on. Because when they say, oh, do you want us to do that hate for you? We say, what hate are you talking about? We're all good. I don't need you to crack down on drugs. This is a medical problem. This is a psychological problem. This is a community problem at worst, right? Now, first of all, it's not a problem for a lot of people. They enjoy recreational drugs. It makes them happy. You have a beer once in a while, it makes you happy. Life is good. You get to determine your own quality of life. But even if something that is ruining your quality of life, man, I don't want the government that is in control of genocides, the government that is locking up innocent people left and right, the government that is sapping us and bleeding us dry, this murder, rape, and death cult, to suddenly say, oh, we'll do the moral thing for the war on drugs for you. I got you, buddy. Nah, it's terrible. They need to get out of here. It is absolutely bigoted by definition from the get-go.
Let me jump into the chat here. And Marcus, you got points for driving me crazy. So it's working out for you.
That is the goal here.
That was a times 1,002 from the scorekeeper.
Yeah.
Oh boy, somebody's gonna have to throw an exponent in for me.
I love Terry. We have that connection, and that's why I talk to you for the most part. Even though Free does help out my podcast, I really appreciate you reposting it and everything. But Terry's it's right there.
He got to Terry. I was playing
show,
5D chess. He was playing 6D chess. Shoot, I've been outscored.
And then, of course, D piles on with saying that was spot on. And 100 to Joe for secession. Loved you entangled, Joe. You get 100 points for that. 100 to Joe because it's also the Joe wall art show. Yeah. 100 to Joe. It really is the best wall. 100 to Marcus for state and local rights. 100 to Marcus for his shirt, even though it's incorrect. I'll add that to the end of that one. 250 to Marcus. 2A is absolute. Minus 200 to Hodey if he doesn't say no Mad Dog 2026. Thomas is here. What's up, Thomas? Make sure you check out Thomas's film. It's I can't remember the name because Shaq took the name, but Thomas has given 1,000 to Hodey for existing. That's awesome. And this is remarkable because usually Thomas only gives himself points even when he's not on the show. So that's actually a big deal. 100 to Joe. Small government does not exist anymore. Minus 1 to Hodey to spread the love and take the points from everyone else. Minus 100 to Hodey for having compassion, not very libertarian. 100 to Hodey for community education rights. Minus 100 to Hodey, missed opportunity to say on the Department of Education. 100 to Joe if he says close the border.
There's a follow-up to that.
I don't have a follow-up. 100 to Joe's hair. 100 to Joe for being a fast talker. 100 to Joe, Marcus, and Hodey for all three answers. Minus 100 to Hodey for saying "da-doy." No need for that kind of foul language. 100 to Hodey. 100 to Hodey for dunking on hate again and again. 100 to Marcus, prohibition is the poop. And 100 to Hodey for reading, chat, and doubling down on da-doy. All right. The doy was popular. Joe's wall was popular. Being mean to me, always popular. All right. Back to it. Joe, to you. Categories over criminalization. Are there too many laws for anyone to be free?
Yes, absolutely. There is a stat out there, and I know some people have been trying to debunk it, but I think it's true. The average American citizen commits 2.5 felonies a day or 3 felonies a day, something like that. That sounds about right. I mean, if you like, there's so many laws on the books, the law enforcement officers don't even know it. Like, that's how crazy it is. In the state of Florida, I've been watching this for several years now. We enact hundreds of new laws every year. Do you think people know what they are? No, they don't know. Like, there's obscure laws that will come up, like in HOA meetings or city commission meetings, and it would even stump like a 30-year bureaucrat that's like the county attorney or city attorney or whatever. It's amazing. And you see these First Amendment auditors go out and, like, they'll video record themselves, and the cops will go up there and they'll try to arrest them or give them a ticket for something that they're not even supposed to do. So they go to it goes through the court system and gets thrown out eventually because they actually get time to learn what the new law is. So it's insane. It's costing us a lot of money. People are getting arrested and then just released because that's actually not a thing, or it is, and then it's like we can't hold them for anything. It's just a bunch of bureaucracy that costs us a lot of money to police ourselves for victimless crimes. So I'm in favor of repealing all the victimless crimes. If the crime does not create a victim, let's get rid of it, or at least not enforce it. We should have nullification in the courts, jury nullification, civil disobedience, and nullify and repeal laws whenever possible as well. So I'm going to I'm trying to get. I'm probably going to be running for office again, as you can see my old campaign career, but I'll probably be running for office again, not to create new laws, but to repeal the bad ones. So there's more freedom and less opportunity for people to go to jail for no reason at all.
In Gorge's book, he talks about a case that got to him on the appeals court that he realized wasn't even on the books at the time that what the crime supposedly happened. So it made it all the way through the original trial, the original guilty verdict, all the way to the appeals court, and he realized it wasn't even on the books at the time. So it's not even just the cops on the street. The courts don't even know what laws are in effect and all of that, and they just hand out guilty verdicts anyways. So I'm 100% with you on that one. Marcus, to you. Should only crimes with victims be punished?
Are there any other type of crimes? Because I think a victimless crime, like, for instance, I was thinking about running for office here in my city, and they just did this ordinance where on one half of my street, if you have an odd number, that's the street sweeping on the first Thursday. On the other half with the odd numbers, that's the street sweeping on the third Thursday. If there's trash in front of your house, that's your fault. You don't need the government or the city telling you to pick up the trash in front of your house, because if you're a homeowner, you understand what property value is. But the government thinks it's so omnipotent that it could tell you, hey, if it's not for us, your property value would sink because somebody may have left a McDonald's cheeseburger wrapper in front of your house. The only streets that should be swept and enforced are public streets where there's not a person that takes responsibility for it. And for government to sit here and tell us where we can and can't park on the street where we brought a property, where we're paying property taxes, where we're paying vehicle registration taxes and gas taxes, it's just not, it's not a republic thing. It's not an American thing to me.
Okay. The rare case against street sweeping. You heard it here first. So, Hodey, to you. Does overcriminalization erode respect for real law?
Got to show off my anarchist chops here for a moment. The law is not real. It's a piece of paper. It's a social construct. Now, are there some social constructs that might be good? Sure, right? Like, some people would say the right to life, right to liberty, pursuit of happiness are social constructs. Law, though, things that are written down on a piece of paper, listen, if they're good, then they don't need to be legal. They're morals. They're ethics. If they're bad, then they really don't need to be political. But I get what the spirit of this question is, right? Like, are there certain laws that we actually shouldn't do? And therefore, we get sucked into the trap of being like, I don't care about the law anymore. I'm already committing so many felonies, right? That's the design. And yeah, this is the problem, right? Suddenly, if it's illegal to collect rainwater, you say, sure, I'll collect rainwater, whatever. I don't even care anymore. And if somebody says that's illegal, you stop caring so much. You stop even thinking about it. But this is kind of, let's talk about this in the libertarian lens real quick. We have seen libertarians advocate for bad behavior under the grounds that it should be legal. And then we've not only, so what we've done is not only erode respect for the law, which I don't think should be a thing, but we've actually eroded respect for our moral and cultural systems. We now have libertarians being like, well, this was legal, this was good. We've stopped arguing in terms of what's good and shifted that conversation over if it should be legal or not, having the exact kind of conversations we really don't want to have. I don't want libertarians thinking that we're the yell the N-word in public, people. I don't want them to think we're the Ben Weir's Jews are a violent minority. I don't want them to think we're the Jeremy Kaufman's reparations to send blacks back to Africa if they complain. People, right? Like, I get that that's free speech. I get that. I'm not going to sick the law on them. What I am going to do is sick the culture on them to say, hey, man, get on my lawn real quick. We need to have a talk. Your hatred of Jews here is not right. Your hatred of blacks here is not right, right? Your correlation causation problems and all that stuff. We got to get that ironed out. As libertarians, we've fallen for this. Now, of course, the average person has fallen for this. We pride ourselves in being so much smarter, right? What's the name of the show? Are you smarter than a politician, right? We pride ourselves in being smart, but we're still as gullible as anybody. Look at people that took a knee for Trump this last election, right? They may have had whatever sound reasons they want to, whatever legal explanation they have, but that's because they're thinking through a legal lens. They're not thinking about their neighbors who are going to get hurt by whoever gets elected. They're thinking about just damage control. They're thinking about laws and stuff. They're not thinking about ethics anymore. So the real problem with this over-criminalization is that we want to be able to navigate the waters of legality. And so therefore we have stopped rowing the boat that navigates the waters of ethics, of goodness, of love and kindness. And we've started seeing ourselves through this legal framework instead of a moral framework. And what is politics downstream from? Culture. So as soon as they poison the culture, the politics is poison as well. This is exactly by design. This is why I said this is not like an American thing. It's not a last 20 years thing. This is a centuries and millennia thing for governments, right? They overcriminalize, they overproduce all these laws, and we start having conversations about the law, and we stop having conversations about my neighbor and who I need to love and what I need to do for him.
All right. Let's go to the scores. Put your scores in the chat if you haven't already, and I'll jump into the chat again here real quick. Whoops, I zoomed in somehow, and that was difficult for me. And here we go. Thomas gives himself 1,000 points for regularly getting a mention when he shows up. That's nice. Yeah, that's your signature move there, Thomas. Yes. 100 to Joe. The average is 6 to 7 felonies now. Minus 100 to Joe for not being creative with his title on StreamYard. Yeah, that's he just has the only other real libertarian. Yeah, that's fair. That's on brand. 100 to Joe and Hodey for looking like before and after Rogaine commercial. Plus 1 to Joe for running again and not needing new shirts. 100 to Joe for getting rid of victimless crimes. 100 to Joe for jury nullification. 100 to Marcus for bringing up car stickers. Plus 1 to Joe for bringing it up on show number 1. That was show number 2, technically. But 100 to Hodey for saying there is no law. 3 felonies. Good job, Joe. Plus 3,000. 100 to Hodey for anarchy. 100 to all HOAs suck. Sorry, Hodey, only 50. 100 to Hodey for acknowledging cultural and moral ethical erosion. Minus 100 to Hodey for having longer answers than Maj and Scott Horton. 100 to Hodey for yet another dunk on hate. Ethics in this economy, minus 100 to Hodey. Yeah, so All right, let's get into the scores here. Let's see if anybody made a dent here. Ooh, it's getting a little closer here. Let's see. We got Hodey still in front, 41-40, but Marcus is coming up. I think a lot of that was for aggravating me, which was a good move. 3,700 for Marcus. And Joe is, this has got to be your first time in 4 digits here, 3,352. So, yeah, it's getting interesting here. All right, let me go back
Good
to
answers
it.
by everyone, by the way. Everyone's doing a good job.
Yeah,
minus
really
minus 1601. I don't know. I need to change strategies real quick. I'm moving the wrong direction.
Casey made the scoreboard, which, you know, Casey's awesome. And, but I wanted particularly in there, even if you're doing well, I wanted you to feel bad about how well you're doing by having that negative score in there too. So, had to throw that out there. All right. Last category here. Pick one. Joe, to you. Who should authorize, military action? Congress, the president, the Supreme Court, the people through a referendum, or NATO and allies?
Should is in the question. So should, I would prefer it to be with the people. Constitutionally, it would be Congress. But yeah, should would be with the people.
Okay. Marcus, to you. Best method to end perpetual wars: immediate troop withdrawal, cutting war funding entirely, negotiated peace treaties, closing all foreign bases, or non-intervention policy?
Non-intervention policy.
Would you like to elaborate, or?
No, it is what it is.
I'm just going to leave the camera here for a second, just in case you change your mind. Might bust out the, there we go, squirm cam.
There's no screaming. There's nothing to be said about that. We don't need to be involved in other nations' politics. If we're going to be a proponent of a democratic process within a republic, do they truly have a self-determining factor to their existence? That's what every human has the right to, is self-determination. So if they choose this, you know, if it's against us, guard against them. Like I said, there's nobody that's going to touch the United States. Everybody can do what they want to do. If they don't want trade with the United States, if they don't want good relations with the United States, so be it. You know, why do we have to interfere with their thing? Now, if they have something industries want, they should be able to negotiate for that. The United States government doesn't need to negotiate for them at the end of a rifle muzzle.
Did you see how I believed in you there, and I knew you had more in you, and I coaxed it out of you. I'm that's why I'm the real libertarian. Just throwing that out there. So
I appreciate that stroking of my ego.
Yeah, there you go. Hodey, to you. Most effective way to stop foreign entanglements: ban on foreign aid, ban on military alliances, ban on regime change operations, ban on drone warfare, or ban on proxy wars?
Oh boy, those are all really good ones. I totally feel for supporting any and all of these answers, except I'm gonna go with, now I believe, drone warfare, because drone warfare is a part of all of those operations right now. And especially because this is really what inspires the public sentiment the most. Now, if we have a regime change operation without a drone war, we're just taking out a leader, right? But with a drone war, what if we ended up doing? We ended up killing, and I am not kidding, if you look this up, in the last decade, about 1 million innocent people blown up, weddings. And I mean, this is what we've recorded. This is what we admit to, is blowing up these innocent people. What we actually blow up, far more than that. And everybody knows it, right? When we look at the UN statistics or any audit, or when we look at their local papers and how many died, we know we're blowing up millions and millions of innocent people with drones. This is what causes the sentiment for war. I think the reason I'm answering this as opposed to the others is because without the drone war, there's no appetite for these other wars. There's no appetite. Why is there a regime that's hostile to the United States? Why would anybody support that? Oh yeah, because we kill their innocent people. That would be one reason that they would put a hostile regime there. Why do we have all these other evils? It's gotta be because we are killing innocent people. And right now we are doing that with drones. We almost got rid of the drone war under Biden. He decided to do more classic warfare for a little bit. Unfortunately, Trump has really escalated that in the last month or so here. We are back to blowing up innocent people. And also thanks to Trump, we no longer have to report all the innocent people that we blow up. So this is, I think when I look at all of those, that has the highest toll on innocent lives, which is what creates the most appetite for all the anti-American hostilities that we see. And because I have a -200, if I don't say it, I've got to say it. No Mad Dog 2026.
Slid that in there. All right. Joe, to you. Biggest source of wasteful federal spending: foreign wars, corporate bailouts, interest on the national debt, welfare for the rich, or bloated bureaucracy?
Wow, I'm going to go with yes on this one. All of the above. I think a hidden a waste of money, because we have running a deficit right now, is corporate bailouts, because we spend a lot of money on that. Corporate welfare too, and the taxes that they get, like that they don't have to pay and whatnot. Well, everyone else is paying for that via inflation because of the deficit. So, but yes, all the things. I think I listed half of them now. But yeah, they all are bad, and that's a good list right there, where Doge should be attacking these things. That was the point of Doge, and they got rid of, like, I think 9 billion or something, which is like, it's something. Not saying it's nothing, it's something, but we were promised like what, 2 trillion or something. So we need to revamp Doge and go after all the things. I did pick one, Casey. Don't. Okay. Well, I picked more than one. I picked one multiple times. Casey's trying to pick like points for me in the chat.
I picked one at a time, right?
Yeah, you picked
like grapes,
You picked 5 ones.
Love it.
I did.
Yeah. All right. Marcus, to you. Who benefits most from Washington's overspending? Lobbyists, mega corporations, defense contractors, career politicians, or central bankers?
I have to go with central bankers, because they're at the top of the pyramid as far as monetary policy goes. And, when you look at a pyramid, there's lots of room at the bottom for everybody, but there's very little room at the top. And with central bankers being at the top of it, they're the ones that are benefiting from it. Even when economic policy brings us to a recession, depression, there is always a class of people that benefit from that. And we saw that during COVID, because we saw, $4 to $7 trillion in economic wealth extracted from the working class, and Jeff Bezos and their lot, actually their wealth grew during COVID. So the answer is simple. The people at the top benefit the most, and those are always the central bankers.
All right. Hodey, to you. Best way to stop Congress from overspending: balanced budget amendment, automatic spending cuts, line item veto, debt ceiling enforcement, public vote on major budgets.
What about sunset?
There's only one of these that would actually stop overspending, and it's going to be balancing the budget, because all the others will help on the way to balancing the budget, but only balancing the budget is going to make them actually cut. Listen, we can give them a lot of these rules. What we're asking, a wise man once told me, you don't combat big government by supporting bigger government. Real smart guy. I forget exactly who said that, but real genius thing right there. And so what we're doing with a lot of these other things is things that have been proposed in other bills. Oh, try to play within this set of rules. Well, what does Congress do? They end up then making up a new set of rules. Hey, you have to declare war. And what did Barack Obama say? Oh, it's not a war. It's a kinetic military action. His own Secretary of Defense on public television laughed in our faces when an anchor was like, oh, what's the difference between that and war? And went, ha, 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 I don't know. Right? Oh, thanks for that, right? Appreciate it. So what we have here is we're trying to say, here's the rules that you have to play with. So what balancing the budget is, F the rules, F like little nuance, little things that you can try to weasel your way through here and there. You've got to balance the budget. They then have no choice but to do two things. One is increase revenue as much as possible, and the other is decrease their spending as much as possible. I think that all those are really great answers. All of them I would support, but I think that's the root of the tree there. Can they do more? Should they do more? I would love for them to be something that's like not only balance the budget, but a repayment plan against the future, right? If the answer was there that was like, hey, you've got 30 years to zero this out, that's probably the one I would do. But until then, I will settle for at least not making the damage any worse.
Joe wants to know if you were talking about him when you said a brilliant man.
I sure was. Thank you, Joe. Appreciate that quote, buddy.
Yeah.
Joe gets credit. That's nice for Joe. So, all right. Back to you, Joe. Best way to reduce prison overcrowding: end drug prohibition, end mandatory minimums, decriminalize sex work, release nonviolent offenders, expand probation parole.
I like all these, but release nonviolent offenders would get rid of a lot of people, put them a lot of those people out of prison, out of jail. So yeah, definitely for that. And one of the things I want to kind of add on to that is if we repeal those laws or nullify them, and I assume by releasing people, we're saying we're not going to put more people back in there. Not like Biden's student loan forgiveness. Oh, but we're still going to make these stupid loans that we're going to forgive later anyway. We're going to stop doing those stupid loans. So I'm hoping it's that. That's going to be the Joe plan, not Joe Biden plan, the Joe Hannoush plan. So yeah.
All right. Marcus, to you. Best alternative to prison for nonviolent offenders: restitution to victims, rehabilitation programs, community service, fines only, or ankle monitoring.
Hands down, is community service. Community service, we could reduce the footprint of the government by having people who have had a victim crime, nonviolent victim crime, do community service and understand and work with the people that they are affecting in their criminal activity. And the basis of what I'm saying there is if it should escalate into a victim crime, then the baseline has been established that this person cannot function within society. And if they can't do that, then we escalate the process.
I think what we learned tonight is you just want the trash off your street.
Pretty much.
Is that what we learned? Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't want your McDonald's cheeseburger wrappers in front of my house.
Okay.
Yeah. That's what I'm standing by.
That's
the hill I'm going to die on.
All right. Last question of the night to Hodey. Best reform to end overcriminalization: repeal victimless crime laws, strict constitutional review, ban on mandatory minimums, cap on prison population, or independent sentencing commissions.
Very easy one. Repeal victimless crime laws. America has the highest incarceration rate in the world, and we are not the safest country in the world. Why? Well, there's two answers. One is that we're over criminalizing victimless crimes, and the other is that Americans are more lawless, evil, dastardly than anybody else in the world. Now, we Americans have taken on the chin in the public eye pretty recently here. I won't lie about that one. But a lot of those sins are the sins of our politicians. How many times do we see popular sentiment for something like stop blowing up innocent people in Gaza and stop equipping people with the weapons to do that? And our politicians just ignore us. Sorry, guys, The power is not with the people. The power is with us right now. This is the same concept with over criminalization and criminalizing things that are completely victimless crimes. What it is it's taking out of our hands. Now, some of these crimes aren't great that create no victims. They might hurt themselves. It might be risky behavior. But how should we be handling crimes of risky behavior? Not with crime, not with law, but with care, with love. As Marcus said in the last answer, community. And I'm going to quote another genius in the liberty movement here. I'm not anti-government. I'm just tough on crime, right? Like I'm actually I really don't like crime. I don't want people out there hurting their neighbors. I don't want gangs like beating people up. I don't want people stealing cars and from other people. But when you call a cop after your car gets broken into, are they dusting for prints? Are they trying to say, oh, let's make sure we really catch? Are they looking at the security cameras from your neighbors and really figuring things out? Are they doing follow-ups? Or do they give you a report and go, sorry about that, but here's a bill for the taxpayers there for me showing up and writing this report for you? They need to focus, if they're going to focus on crime, actually punishing these crimes. They've taken their eye off the ball. Rape kits are going bad because they have stopped analyzing them. Think about that for a minute. Every time you get a ticket for going 5 over the speed limit in some speed trap where the zone randomly, we've all been there, where it randomly goes from like 45 to 35 for no reason at all before bumping back up to 45. And the cop just sits there. Instead of paying a guy who can analyze the rape kit, we've paid a pirate to steal your money for hurting absolutely no one. And so these real crimes are going bad, but these victimless crimes, oh man, we're really willing to punish the heck out of those, right? Like we're going to really make sure you're not able to grow a plant in your yard. It's absolutely ridiculous. And I will fully admit right now that quote I got was from Marcus. Thank you for that one. I appreciate it.
There you go. All right. So that is it for the night. Enter your scores if you have not done so yet. And tell us who you thought won and what you thought of the show tonight. And we would appreciate any resharing afterwards so people that weren't able to make it live can see the replay. And all right, let's jump into the comments while the final scores are being added. 100 to Joe for being based, 100%. Joe, like I tease Joe, but Joe is one of the best people in the libertarian movement. I point this out all the time, and he supports so many candidates. He's helped me out so much. He came on my show when nobody was watching my show. Just a great guy. So yeah, Joe is 100% based. 100 to Hodey for having a name like a character from King of the Hill. 50 to Marcus for it is what it is. 100 to Free if he puts up Marcus's smarter than a libertarian logo. I think Marcus threatened me last time I did this, so I will do it again. There it is for you. There it is.
Wow.
There you go. Yeah. So yeah, you're not a real libertarian, Marcus. So 100 points to me, even though I'm not even playing. So, but it was worth it. Let's see here. 100 to Marcus, non-interventionist doesn't have to be explained. It's self-explanatory. 100 to Hodey for still going by a nickname they probably got when they were 3.
That's my brother. He knows that's true. Thank you, Sean.
100 to Marcus for having bigger nuts than the wang on Joe's wall. Freeze the libertarian whisperer. All right. 50 to Hodey for not trusting the government's numbers. Check out the Star Trek TOS episode, Taste of Armageddon. Remote war is even more immoral. 100 to Hodey. Minus 100 to Hodey for talking about drone bombing people without mentioning Obama, unaliving so many Americans.
8 new kinetic military conflicts under Obama. You're right to dock that for me. Appreciate it.
And he got the Nobel Peace Prize for doing so.
Yeah.
Stop hating on us.
100 to Hodey for keeping drones more recreational and less murdery. 100 to Hodey for letting me see his real background through the tiny holes between his head and his headphones. 100 to Hodey, the military redefined terrorists to include persons suspected of terrorism to bring the civilian target rate down to 5 to 1. 100 to Hodey for shilling gnomes. 100 to Hodey for the Prez Veep plug. 100 to Hodey for remembering gnome, even though they went to sleep and won't give you points back. It's called Pick One, minus 100 to Joe. Minus 100 to Joe for not picking one. Yeah, Joe, you picked a bad time to do that. Yeah,
I know.
waited for the end to stop following the rules. Minus 200 to Joe for believing Doge was ever a real thing. 100 to Marcus because bankers own the other categories. Minus 100 to Joe because 100 to Marcus for being against central bankers and hiding his money in tin cans around the yard. 100 to Marcus. 100 to Hodey for balancing the budget. 100 to Hodey. I got a bunch of Larry Sharp blowback for picking a balanced budget. 100 to Hodey for F the rules. 50 to Hodey, limiting the debt ceiling forces their hand. 100 to Hodey for knowing how ledgers work. 100 to Hodey for root of the tree. 100 to Hodey for not sweating the entire time. Suit, headphones, all that high energy talking. 100 to Joe. 100 to Hodey for celebrating National Potato Day with his haircut.
Mean.
50 to Joe for being, quote, in another contestant's answer. 100 to Joe, no victim, no crime. 200 to Marcus. Minus 50 to Marcus. Community service support.
Isn't that his mom?
Betsy Kazari is my mom. Yes.
Yeah.
No, she's doing work tonight. I appreciate it, Mom.
50 to Marcus, who likes McDonald's wrappers in his yard. Nobody. Now Chipotle wrappers, I'd be less mad at. 100 to Hodey for nailing the landing. 100 to Hodey, we've been talking recently about the Portugal model of decriminalization and local intervention. Yeah, it comes up. It's a good model. The line does not concern itself with the opinions of human resources. 100 to Joe. 50 to Hodey, don't ruin people's lives and prevent them from ruining their own life. 100 to Hodey for speed traps. 100 to Hodey for dastardly. Free really needs a Taco Tuesday category of some sort, not minus 100 for not coming up with that yet. No, Marcus was our ethnic tonight, so we couldn't do tacos.
There you go. And my wife's Mexican, so there's that connection there.
Yeah. 100 to Free if he can get a Wrap It Up soundtrack like the Oscars. That would be really good.
That would not have worked out in my favor tonight.
Well, what about the one from Showtime at the Apollo where the Sandman came out with the cane?
Sandman. Yeah.
There we go. That would be good. 100 to Hodey for road pirates versus actual crime. 100 to Joe and Marcus for being awesome and letting me have a big birthday celebration. Oh, it's from Hodey. Okay. Minus 100 to Free for saying something nice about Joe publicly. I'll delete that from the show. Nobody's watching anymore. Minus 100 to Hodey for starting like Larry but wearing a suit. Yeah. Yeah, Larry went gun show. Larry went full on gun show. So, all right. So that was a lot. Terry was busy tonight. Terry did an excellent job as always. Let's see where it all ended up here. Probably need a drum roll too. Si, you're better at the editing than me. So yeah, we should do some of that. All right. And not really surprising here. Hodey took it home with 58-40. Marcus 51-50. Shout out to NWA for that. And Joe with 33-52. So Joe, third place, but in positive points for maybe the first time ever. What did you think, Joe?
Yeah, no, I'm incredibly pleased with being in positive points. I think I gave some good answers. The audience was great to me, I think, except for Casey, not him. But everyone else was great with me. I appreciate them. I had a fun time in the comments. This first time doing the dual thing here. So I had fun in the comments as well as fun with you, Terry, Marcus, and Hodey. And I'm very impressed by Hodey and Marcus. I get to hear them because they're both podcast hosts too. Hodey, by the way, on his podcast with Big John, he's the quiet one. So it was good to hear him talk. He's got a lot to say. I think Big John should give him more time to speak. Marcus is always a pleasure. I got the co-host with him a couple weeks ago. We had a candidate on. And speaking of libertarian candidates, I heard Marcus mention he might run for office. I might run for office. I hope Hodey considers running for office. I think it would be great for the three of us to come back, have a reunion show when we're all officially filed as libertarian candidates. Would be great. Someone mentioned earlier I was talking fast, and I kind of hear myself talking fast right now. So I'm going to stop right there. It's been a pleasure, guys.
And plus 100 to you for not making me run for office. I would hate that. And you can follow Joe at Joe Hannoush on X. He's a great follow. And like I said, he does a great job promoting candidates, sometimes better than the party itself. So does an excellent job. So we appreciate that about Joe. And Marcus, second place. What did you think?
I blame Tub and Casey for my downfall tonight. You know, I was 1-0 coming into this contest. And I will say Hodey had some great sound bites and great supportive elements from his entire family. I feel like he had second cousins on here tonight supporting him because he got points. His brother was in there giving me negative points. I don't blame his brother one iota. But tonight was rigged. And I'm going to go back in my house. Tonight, I'm going to change the battery on my smoke detector because I feel like this was an injustice. And I'm pissed off to all of festivity that this didn't go my way. But I will give credit where credit is due. Congratulations, Hodey. Yeah, SOB, I love you. And I look forward to communicating with you further. It was great meeting you tonight.
Oh my God, there was so much there. I don't even know. You forgot to mention reparations. I believe was the only thing you missed there.
Come on. I mean, give me another episode, and then we'll consider it even. But as far as my African ceiling bird goes tonight, it's going to be silenced. I just saw that a few weeks ago. I was like, damn. Even if you're black, you have to give credit where credit is due. That's just a great one. And me personally, I'm going to tell the truth. I have a 10-year battery in my smoke detector, and it's been 2 years. So I'm good to go. But congratulations to Hodey. I salute you, sir. You did a great job tonight, and I look forward to chopping it up with you in the future.
And you can follow Marcus at Black Powder Pod on X, and they are on all of the platforms. Unlike me, they do a good job with that. And do you want to plug the show real quick here, Marcus?
Yeah, this Thursday, 6 p.m. And let me do my ebonics real here. Specific time, 6 p.m. specific time, 9 p.m. Eastern time. Spike Owen's coming on, my dear friend of mine. We go back over 10 years. He's going to be on. We're going to be talking about You Are the Power. We're going to be talking about a lot of stuff. So please tune in this Thursday, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern on the Black Powder Podcast across any platform. Just Google us. Thank you very much. Live free or die.
Awesome. That'll be a good one. I will be tuning in for sure. And Hodey, you stacked the deck, but it was effective. The streamlining the look, I think, worked for you. Stopping by Men's Warehouse on the way to the show, I think, was a good move as well. Yeah. What did you think tonight?
I really just had a lot of fun. It was great to meet you. You, Terry, Joe, and Marcus. I've never talked to any of you face to face. I've talked to all of you at some point online. And so I just had a lot of fun actually being able to do like a face-to-face talk thing. I am a crippled introvert, but I had the whole everything minimized so that I could try to just focus on what I could do to get through this real quick. Obviously, I have to thank those who helped me rig this thing. Marcus is absolutely right. If we ever do this not on my birthday, that is going to be rough. So I'll just next August 19th, I'll see you all right here on the Are You Smarter Than a Politician show. No, I really just want to plug my other two guys here. Joe Hannoush, if you're not following him on the Twitter or X, a lot of great quotes, a lot of great soundbite stuff that goes like mini viral, like always in double or triple digit likes. And you're just kind of like, dang, this guy just says a lot of smart stuff and it's really cool. Does a good job calling out, staying hawkish on everything. We've talked with each other before. Marcus, the Black Powder Podcast, man, 4.5 hour plus video on the Supreme Court decisions and Second Amendment stuff. Deeper dives, there are none. And you will find some really great information over there on the Black Powder Podcast. It's a really cool thing. It's not just all gun stuff. A lot of just good analysis, a lot of great memes, a lot of great fun over there. I follow him on the Facebook side, and it's just a great place to hang out and be. Also, one last one, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention it, but are you smarter than a politician? I showed up as just a fan of the show, just in the comments, listening to everybody's kind of diverse opinions, listening to how Larry hijacked an entire show and doing maybe 25% about as well as he did at that, but doing my best regardless. And it's just a lot of fun listening to all the different ideas within the Liberty spectrum and getting a whole bunch of different perspectives. I really appreciate it. As far as my stuff goes, man, the Love First Christians, if you are not a person of faith or are a person of faith and you just want to be in a culturally loving community where we support each other, obviously you saw some of the support that I got tonight. These guys are like this behind the scenes all the time. If I just say, hey guys, I got a show that it would help me if you listen to, or if I just say, hey guys, I'm really struggling with my life right now. I'm really struggling with money, or I'm really struggling to stay happy. Or somebody just called me a potato head in the chat, and that's kind of got under my skin a little more than I thought it would. That these guys are there to kind of pick up your spirits. And it's something that you are not there for us. We are there for you. So if you ever just need love or support, faith, not faith, we have the bulk of our channel is in the non-faith chat. So we're there talking with people. Just a great place to be. Again, that's the Love First Christians. I have a link on my Discord to the Discord on my Twitter, so you can check it out there, or Twitter X. The free for all Thursday evenings, already plugged this, 10 p.m. on Thursdays with Big John. The free for all, we talk about all kinds of great stuff. It's on Grumblings Media, grumblingsmedia.com. You maybe saw me drink out of their mug. Fantastic guys. I am obviously a kind of centrist libertarian. They're a little right of liberty, but you are also going to find like all kinds of cool stuff there, like sports. They've had like Hall of Famers interviewed there before. I don't know how they have their connections. I don't know what they see in me, but thankfully I've fooled them, and I will continue to be on their show so long as they think I am an asset. So the free for all is a good place to be. See you on Thursday nights. And other than that, guys, it's just it's been a pleasure. My guys at the LP Allies, if you like my writing, this is actually my career. I write in the Liberty Circle for thetorch.media. It is The Torch with the LP Allies. You can find my breakdown on why the Screen Act is a total sham. That was just posted today. And happy birthday to me. Thank you, everybody, so much. This was so much fun. I had a good time. Woo, woo, woo.
Awesome. And let me just throw it up there. If you want to follow Hodey on X, it's that Hodeman on X. So, and all of his other stuff is linked to from there as well. And you can catch that.
The Hodeman on X. Not that.
Did I say? Oh, the Hodeman. Sorry.
Okay.
The Hodeman.
Yeah, happy birthday.
Thank you, Marcus.
And let me throw Terry up here. Terry, what'd you think?
Oh, wow. You guys did a great job. You really did. But I do have one thing I need to say. Joe and Hodey, when you come back, you will start out with a -1,000 instead of a -500, because you made me read all of those posts you made in the chat, giving each other points, knowing I wasn't going to do it, and yet you posted it anyway. There I was, reading like this, 100 miles an hour out there, trying to keep up with you guys. No, I'm kidding. I won't take the other -500.
No. You already said it, so we're going.
Oh yeah, and it's being recorded, but you will get it in the form of a tax bill from the Fed. Okay, and Marcus. Marcus, you did a great job out there, and thank you for coming back and doing this with us again. Same with you, Joe. Hodey, it was great to have you first time. You will be on the return list, and happy birthday to you, sir. Free as always. You did awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
A couple more from the chat real quick. Sean wants to know if he can disown Hodey as a brother if he runs for office. I believe that's allowed.
I'll be his brother.
And Archie said since Hodey lost 1701 points plus 1701 because he shares a birthday with Gene Roddenberry. Scientific wanted to point out this is not the first time Joe's tested positive. Joe gave 100.
Sorry about that, Scientific.
To Terry. Thousand of Marcus for blaming Tub. He hates the show. Hey, this brother only gave negative points to Hodey.
Don't pick on your younger brothers, people. That blew up on me bad. Sean, thank you.
Chris is in for black powder on Thursday. Sean says it's lucky. He's lucky it's his birthday. A face only a family can love. A lot of points to Hodey's brothers. Happy birthday to all the anarchist potatoes out there. And damn it, Sai, you hurt Hodey's feelings on his birthday. Bad Chucky. And Dan followed all the guests. So thank you, Dan. And thank you to the chat. You guys are awesome. You guys make the show so much more fun. And, thank you to everybody new in the chat. Hope you join us again. We try to make this something where your opinion counts too. And we actually, find people in the chat and bring them on the show. So it's a good way to meet people and follow other people and join the community. So appreciate y'all. Terry, excellent job as always. It was absolute chaos. It was nuts tonight. So thank you for that. And thank you to you three. You guys were awesome. This was one of the most fun ones yet. So appreciate y'all. We'll be back on Friday. And Terry, who do we have on Friday?
Friday's going to be fantastic. Again, we have Jack Danger coming back on. He does the podcast Secret America on Sundays at 7 p.m. And we have Burnin' Tea coming back. He hosts the Burnin' Tea Ranch podcast, and he only does a show when he has something to say, and it's usually really, really good. And then, of course, we have Casey Rasmussen coming back, and he is the host of the show They Both Suck on 8 o'clock on Wednesdays. And yes, sir, they do both suck. Yes, they do. So we're going to have a great show on Friday. Hopefully all you guys will return. Hodey, you're going to be back in the chat on Friday. You too, Joe. Marcus, if you're not busy, dear, I would love for you to join me.
And Scientific said that he's glad that Hodey was born. So I think we've made amends here, and there's been reparations there. So
my potato face is making everybody else look better by comparison. You are welcome.
All right. Well, thank you, everybody. This was great. Join us Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern. Appreciate you all. Peace out.